one day. Anything can happen in one day with Erick and Lisa.
That's right. Anything can happen in one day. And today we are talking about manifestation.
Yes.
Manifestation is everywhere at the moment. I think I can't scroll through anything on social media without running into something regarding energy, manifestation, and all this stuff. I mean, it really seems like everyone's gravitating towards that now.
For sure, the new age. But the only problem is, I feel
hmm
people don't really understand the whole concept of manifestation.
hmm
So we need to explain.
Right. Yeah. I mean, manifestation is great. I mean, obviously, energy is what we're all made of. I mean, the entire universe is energy, and manifestation, I believe, is real. I really believe you can manifest your future. You can manifest your life. But there are certain things you have to do, which I think a lot of people are missing in terms of that process. So, I mean, today we wanted to focus a little bit on that to kind of give a little bit of a guiding path and enlightenment and towards that process.
Right. And a funny story, my father, who's very non-spiritual,
hmm
and he's very old school, very hard worker, work like 80 hours a week to make it. And
Sure.
what are you talking about, Lisa? You're manifesting your dreams. So his interpretation of Lisa manifesting her dreams
hmm
is me sitting on the beach, drinking a pina colada, looking up at the sky, saying, God, please bring me all of my dreams, and doing nothing to pursue those dreams. And the crazy
Right.
thing is, he knows how hard I work.
Sure.
He sees me. He instilled that in me
hmm
from like 5, 7 years old. But the point is, every time I say to him, I'm manifesting something, people who don't get it think that you just sit there and dream all day. And it's not like that at all. You can manifest all your dreams all day long, but in order for them to reach reality, you have to work hard to get.
Right.
And we'll tell the story about the boat, the guy in the boat.
Yeah, you'll have the guy on the boat. You'll
The
have to
guy
remind
in
me
the
now.
boat. Okay, well, go ahead. Any comments about manifestation?
No, I mean, obviously, no. What you said is exactly right. I mean, manifestation, first of all, begins with gratitude, right? Because the first thing that you have to do is be grateful for where you are in life.
Right.
And I think a lot of us miss that. I mean, we're so focused on, where am I going to get money, or I want to buy these new shoes, or I want to wear, this new jacket, I want to drive this car. That's all great. Those are goals, but that isn't, ultimately what you should be grateful for. I mean, it really comes down to those fundamental things. You have a roof over your head, you have food on your table, you have money in your pocket. That's the most important part. So to begin with anything, that gratitude is your first basis for that positive energy that you're going to utilize to manifest everything else you're wanting in life.
Yes. And like how I do it, how I manifest. Every morning I wake up, the first thing I say is thank you to God. Whatever it is you believe in, a higher power, a ball of energy, whatever it is, your Buddha, be grateful and thankful to your higher power. But then what I also do, and I did this 2 days ago, and I called Brian and told him, listen to what I just did. I shut off the radio. After I'm always on that 20-minute drive where I leave you a message, Brian, a message,
Right.
I'm brainstorming. I shut off the radio. I said, okay, God, we're going to have a talk right now. And we talked for 10 minutes. I talked, he listened.
Sure, he listened, right.
And you know what? I am very grateful and I'm very thankful every day of my life. But in this particular talk with God, I was asking for what I want to create in my life.
Sure.
And I do say an abundance. We all are very deserving of an abundance of health, wealth, and love.
Absolutely.
We all deserve that. So don't be afraid to ask for what you want to create in your life, because once you put the words out there, or like we talk about on paper, then the energetic force, the law of attraction, your higher power, puts it into alignment.
It puts it into motion.
With
Absolutely.
the people in the right places. Exactly. We're always talking
right,
about that.
Exactly. And the other day you mentioned journaling as well, and it's something that I never partook in. I never bothered to write things down. I never journaled about my day. And, I started doing that based on your recommendation. And there's a big difference just in me mentally, because I feel now that when I journal or I write these things down, whether it's what I'm grateful for, what I'm thinking about, even a to-do list, it's amazing how much pressure it takes off of your mind so that you can think clearer, you can sleep better, you can relax, because you no longer have all this stuff cluttered in your mind.
Right. And I wrote about that in my book. And that's what I always tell all my clients that I train. to journal. And some of them, very successful men usually,
Hmm.
they're like, why do I have to journal if it's all in my head?
Right.
I already know what I need to change. But when you put it on pen to paper, and don't journal on a computer, it's better to handwrite
To
it, because
handwrite,
then you're
exactly.
really feeling it. And it's all about the energy, because when you
Right.
take it out of your head, put it onto paper, it becomes a reality. And it's like smacking you right in the face that you read it back and you're like, wow. Then you're putting out the energy for something beautiful to either occur
Hmm.
in the future or to heal you from the past or present or whatever it is you're going through.
Right. And you mentioned a very important thing, right? The past. So the past is really one of the biggest things that holds us back from progression on anything. And, even during the COVID, right? During COVID, we had a lot of challenges. We had businesses that we had to shut down. We had others that had challenges from logistics and all those other things. And there was a point in my life where I kind of got held back by those things. And this happens to a lot of us, right? You have certain events that mark your life, they hit you hard, and you tend to focus on that. So I kept looking backwards, but I expected to move forward.
Right.
And it's impossible. You can't do two things at once, right?
Right.
So if you're going to move forward, you got to forget. You got to forgive yourself first of all, and then you got to forget about that. Take the lesson you need from it, and then progress.
Yes.
And that's one of the big things again in manifestation. A lot of the stuff that's out there says, "Hey, just write it down and just believe you're going to get it, and you'll see in 30 seconds or in 3 days it's going to hit your checking account." I mean, I wish it was that easy, but it really isn't. I mean, once you make that decision that you're going to go on this path, like for us in this case, the TV show, we decided we were going to do a show. It wasn't just, hey, we're going to do a show and then sit back and wait for the show to happen. You got to start putting in that work so that energy that you're projecting gets manifested back to you.
Right. And sometimes it will happen overnight, but whatever your higher power wants for you, and that's when you have to have faith, you have to have patience, you have to be consistent. But what you're saying is so true. People focus on their lack of what they don't have. And this is a key point of all this manifestation. Focus on what you do have, and the law of attraction and the energetic force will bring more of that to
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
So don't focus on the lack. Focus on what you have and be grateful, be thankful, and create more of it. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Abundance attracts abundance.
Yes. And sorry, one more thing.
Sure.
About the past versus the present. So when I'm teaching meditation classes, which I do pretty much every day, what I always tell the people to do when they're closing their eyes and breathing and relaxing their muscles, to let go of the past. Don't worry about the future. Be present in this moment, right here, right now, because there's nothing we can do about the past. There's nothing we can do about the future.
Right.
But there is something we can do about the now.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's it. I mean, the now is really what matters. In every case, the now is really what matters, right? What you're present for, what you're presently feeling, what you're presently seeing, what you're presently experiencing is truly the only thing that's really happening in your life at any given moment. So the future, we tend to worry about what's coming,
right?
Or we tend to hope for something that's coming, but none of that's guaranteed. What's guaranteed is this moment. So from this moment to that moment, you can make the decisions necessary to continuously progress yourself towards whatever you're manifesting, to whatever you're wanting to arrive to. But you have to take that journey. You can't expect the journey to be taken for you.
Right. And all the great spiritual masters, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, Dalai Lama, Oprah, I love her. Like all of those teachers of spiritual teachings, they always say, if you're not happy, it's because you're not present in the moment. Because happiness is, how I define happiness, is peace. Sure. And if you're regretting yesterday and worrying about tomorrow, you have no peace.
Right.
But if you're just living today at the fullest capacity that you can, you will feel internal peace. And that's what brings happiness.
Right. And that peace comes with gratitude. Right.
Yes,
I mean, because inner peace, I think, is the hardest thing for many people to achieve. And there's people who spend a lifetime working on that inner peace. You have Buddhists who sit in, the temples, meditating, looking for that inner peace. But, ultimately, it just comes back to that gratitude. If you really focus on the abundance of what you have, what you're surrounded by, the people that are there for you, which most of the time we take for granted. But, when you find yourself in a tough position and you start seeing the people that are reaching out to you constantly and all these things, those are the things to really focus on and be grateful for. And as you focus on that, you attract so much more of it. And I know, just like with this show, I mean, since we've gotten involved, we've attracted so much in terms of relationships in the media business, opportunities, all these different things that, ultimately we really haven't been looking for it. But since we're working so hard on our vision, it seems to be all coming to us just naturally.
Yes, for sure. So the story about the guy on the boat. Okay, so there was a guy on a boat, and he's going out to the middle of the sea, like way out to the crazy waters. And he's like praying to God, and he can't find his way back home. So he's praying to God, please, God, save me. You've heard this story.
Yes, I think I know where you're going with it, yeah.
So now a helicopter comes over his head, and they're like looking down, help. He's screaming, help. Can we help you? And he says, no, please don't help me. They leave, and he's like, please, God, help me. So the next thing that comes is like a huge
like cruise ship or something, right?
Can we help you get on the boat? No, I'm waiting for God. And then a motorboat or something else, the third thing comes. No, I'm waiting for God. Then he dies, he drowns, and then he goes to heaven, and there's God. Like, I sent you a helicopter, a boat, a raft. Like, what more did you need?
What more did you need,
to get saved?
Right.
So it's like, do something about it. Don't just like drown there.
Right.
Take the signs. And this is another big thing we need to talk about: manifestation. When you're driving your car and you're thinking about what you want in your future, and all of a sudden a song comes on that reminds you, or you see the number 1111, and you and your tattoos and all your spiritual signs, there are signs every day from the universe.
Absolutely.
To manifest our dreams. But are you aware? Are you opening your eyes, your mind, your heart, your spirit to the signs?
Right. And and once you do that, the universe is perfect in its design, that it communicates to you the way you understand it. So a lot of people think it's like, oh no, the only way you can communicate is tarot. The other way you can do it is numerology, or astrology. The reality is the universe communicates to you in the form and manner that you understand the universe. So for me, I personally have a big connection with numerology. I see double numbers all the time. I see it in various places. I'm the kind of person, I pick up my phone and I look and it's 444.
Yeah.
Then an hour later, 555. And it's always random. It's not that I'm always checking my phone. It's just random moments where it occurs. And usually when that happens to me, I immediately say, okay, what was I thinking about? What was I talking about? What am I focused on in this moment? Because to me, it's a sign that the universe is saying, hey, listen, you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Follow that idea, follow your gut, or keep going on with whatever you're doing.
Right. And I really believe that those signs are our spirit guides, our angels, our God, our higher power, telling you, hey, follow these signs. Because I always get that. Ever since I was a little girl, like 5 years old, I follow all the signs. And I can tell you, I have manifested everything I've ever wanted in my life. Everything. There isn't one thing I haven't manifested. And it's because I know I have the power, and I have 100% confidence that I have that power. So I've created that power within me from practicing and writing about it and teaching about it. That's why I know that I'm the next Oprah Winfrey.
There you go.
With you by my side. But who are we going to call you?
I don't know.
Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Phil.
There you go. All right.
Wait, give me mine for that.
We'll take that one. But the other side of manifestation, which you always have to keep in mind, is that you can also manifest negative. And that's a very important thing. So, and a lot of people don't realize that. So what you think and what you emote is what you attract. So in many cases, when we find ourselves in a challenge, our mind immediately goes negative. Why? Because our mind is built to protect us. So that's where, the fight or fear or the fight or flight, scenario is so real. So when things are going wrong, you tend to start focusing on those negative things, all the things that are going wrong, what's not working out, why is this always happening to me, and all this. But if you are communicating that out to the universe, you're going to attract that back to you, and you're going to keep getting more and more and more and more scenarios where you're going to keep feeling in that same way. So the strength that it takes in those moments is to find the things you're grateful for in that moment, focus on that, and change that energy so that you can then, you know, get beyond that scenario that you're in at that moment.
Right. And we're talking about ways to help all of you manifest your dreams of abundance, of health, of wealth, of love, and health. Health is so important. So everything that Erick just said is very true. But what I like to say, to keep it simple, wake up in the morning, say your gratitude out loud. I'm thankful for X, Y, and Z. Like, think of 3 things you're grateful for, and then focus on those 3 things. And even if you wake up in a horrible mood, fake it till you make it, because the universe, and there's 2 scenarios about this. The universe will pick up your energy. Even if you're faking it, you can turn it around in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit, and go throughout your day. And at night, when you go to sleep, do the same thing. Name those 3 things inside of you or out loud that you're grateful for, and focus on those 3 things or 10 things. And when I say fake it till you make it, what I really mean is make yourself be more positive. Fake that part. Don't fake everything, because the universe will pick up on that. But fake the part where if you wake up, you're hungover, you feel like crap, you don't want to go through your day. Fake it by telling yourself today's going to be a great day, and guess what happens?
Yeah, it turns into a great day.
So that's what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah. And the faking it is a very good point. So I mean, ultimately, you have to start training yourself to take yourself out of that negative place.
Exactly.
So for me, I have this one song that I like listening to every time, and I actually start my day with this one song. And it's a techno song. It's not some manifestation or anything like that, or some energy, mantra. It's literally a song that I enjoy listening to because I really like EDM. And so I start with that song, and it automatically just puts my brain into this mindset that, hey, today's going to be positive. You're going to rock this day. Everything's going to be amazing. And of course, things happen, right? You can't control everything. You can control yourself and your choices, but things happen. And then so sometimes I'll find myself kind of veering.
Right, of course, because we're human.
Of course, right? So you get angry, someone, bothers you, whatever the case may be. And then when I get the moment, I'll actually play that song again. And it's a trigger for me to say, hey, everything's fine. Get yourself right back on track. You'll be okay. That was 10 seconds of your life that were disrupted. It wasn't your entire life.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest things. You have to start getting out of your own way, getting out of your own head in order to progress.
Yes, for sure. Definitely. And you will get tested, especially if you haven't been familiar with these tools that we're talking about. If you're in a negative spot and you're trying to get out of it, but you don't know how, and you finally watch us and we're telling you how, or you watch a seminar with Tony Robbins,
right?
And then all of a sudden you're like, yes, I got it. I'm going forward. Well, you're going to be tested like no tomorrow.
Yep.
And that's good, because the more you're tested, then the more you can practice and move forward in a positive way.
Yeah, and exactly. The tests are exactly that. It's helping you strengthen your position and your path forward. So a lot of people get stuck in that test, and they're just like, why? I'm positive. Why is this happening? And then they regress. So those tests are there for you to strengthen yourself to move forward, because the reality is, if you're going to truly manifest all these things, right, you are going to be on a international TV show or multinational TV show, or you're going to be a multimillionaire. Let's look at it realistically. If those things really come true, do you really feel you're not going to be tested then? Right. So, the universe is preparing you for what you ultimately want to be, and you have to go through those tests to prepare yourself to get there.
Right. And we were having a conversation in your kitchen before we started this about, you were telling someone to read my book about everything I've been through. I've been through so much with my health, and I'm a health and life coach, fitness expert, and you would think I'd be the healthy one. I've had everything you can imagine, but everything would try to knock me down, but never kept me down.
Sure.
So what I'm here to tell you is, the more darkness that you encounter in your life, be grateful even for the darkness, because that darkness will propel you forward towards the light.
Right. And if you think of like just a basic scenario, right? If you were to take a box and you fill that box with light, you know, if you try to inject darkness in there, you can't, right? The light just overpowers that darkness.
Yeah.
But if you take it the other way around, you take that same box and it's completely black, and you could put the smallest bit of light in there and it's going to shine.
Right.
You know, so it's the same with your inner energy, your inner soul. If you focus on light, no matter how dark it is, you're always going to be shining no matter what. And that's really the path forward. You just always have to find the bright in the scenario, look at what you're grateful for, regardless of what you're going through, and then use that to progress yourself forward and just really drive that energy into positivity.
I love that. I love that. That touched my heart. That's so beautiful. And the light, I want you all to know we all are the light. When I do my meditations with the girls mainly that I teach, I say to them, say like a mantra, they would say, you are enough. Or I would make them say, I am enough.
Right.
I am the light, because we all have the light.
Absolutely.
Don't dim your light. Let it shine bright, because you can change the world one person at a time, just like we are doing.
As we do, exactly.
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, out of all these things, there's so many different things you can do. But I mean, just those basic tools. I mean, definitely focus on your gratitude. That's number one. Most importantly, write this stuff down.
Journal, yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just like when you were in school and you were studying for math or any other test. I mean, your brain learns off of repetition. So if you're writing this stuff down on a daily basis, your brain gets used to that. And all of a sudden, you're changing the way that your brain approaches things, the way you think about things. And that is what's going to start, you know, pushing that energy out there so that all that stuff comes back to you. So the gratitude, the journaling.
And a couple things just to touch on before we end the show. Breathing.
Yes.
Deep breath in, exhale out, because a lot of people hold their breath a lot and when they're stressed, and the breathing brings your nervous system down to a better energetic force of health and wealth and love. And exercise and eat healthy.
Right.
Because what you feed your temple, your body, is definitely affects your mood, affects your energetic level. And exercise, raise your vibe, attract your tribe, and create your destiny for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, all these are great tips, you know, that you can start practicing on. These are free to do. That's the best part, right? You don't have to go out and look for anything.
Or hire a life coach or
a life coach or a trainer. Absolutely. But I mean, ultimately, these are little changes that you can inject into your life today that can ultimately start making your life change drastically. So, but, you know, again, forgive yourself for the past. Do not look backwards. Do not focus on the future. Focus on your present. Be grateful for your present. Up your vibe. Eat well. Exercise. Invest the time in yourself as opposed to investing it in everything else. Because if you invest in yourself, everything gets that much better.
Yes. And remember one thing. If you gained 50 pounds, you're not going to lose 50 pounds overnight. And you can't exercise once a week or diet once a week. You have to be consistent. You have to dedicate yourself to the gym, to eating healthy.
Right.
Same thing occurs with our mindset. Work on your mindset on a daily basis. Make it a practice, a part of your life. Everything that we're talking about, gratitude, journaling, everything that we're talking about is up here, not just your physical body. Be consistent, dedicate your life, and do it every single day, no matter how many things attack you in a negative way. Push through and switch that, like flip that switch, like when you turn the light on and turn the light off.
Right.
Flip it. When you feel darkness, flip it to the light. When you feel negative, flip it to the positive. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And then it becomes your way of life every day for the rest of your life. And your life will turn around. Right. For sure.
And most importantly, the one thing that we forgot to mention that's most important is keep watching In One Day. Make sure you follow us on social media. Visit our website, inoneday.tv. And of course, we'll always have more tips on there. You can reach out to both of us personally, and you can learn more about the things that we're doing in our daily to make our In One Day that much greater.
Yes, and remember, everything can change in
one
one
day.
day.
Absolutely.
Yay! Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us.